What's up, you guys? My name is Aubrey, this is my channel, and today I want to talk about how to flip items for profit. More specifically, we're going to be talking about the top 10 items to flip in order to make some extra money. Now, I'm going to be breaking down some of the most profitable ways to flip items. I'm going to be breaking down what items you should be flipping, and I'm going to be breaking down exactly what you need to know so that you can get started on this side hustle on your own. So let's get started. Now, today is Tuesday, and that brings us to this week's Top 10 Tuesday. Now, if you don't know what Top 10 Tuesday is the day of the week in which I lay out top 10 lists for how to make money, how to grow businesses, how to choose side hustles, and more. So if you're interested in checking out my videos that I have every single Tuesday on this subject, then make sure to subscribe and make sure to hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it. But with that, let's dig into this week's Top 10 Tuesday, which is the top 10 items to flip for profit. Now, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down what these items are, how you can begin a business or a side hustle flipping these items, and what are the details that you need to know in order to start your own hustle doing this exact same thing. Now, this list will be ordered from 10 to 1, 1 being the best and 10 being the worst. But to be honest, I think that all 10 included in this list are really great opportunities to make money. And so with that, let's dig in. But before we touch on number 10, let me first give you some context of what exactly flipping is, for those of you who may not know. Now, flipping products is whenever you buy a product and then you sell that exact same product for a profit. It can be something as simple as buying a car for $1,000 and then reselling that exact same car for $1,500. It can be something as complicated as flipping a house, where you buy a rundown house and then you fix it up and then you sell it for a profit. Basically, it's just buying something low and selling that exact same thing high. And the flipping industry is something that is absolutely massive, that covers so many different types of products and investments. And so now that you guys know what flipping is, let's dig into number 10 on this list, which is a tried and true method of making money, and that is flipping cars. Now, flipping cars is a proven way to make money in the flipping marketplace, and there are a handful of different ways that this type of thing could play out. Number one is you could buy a car from auction. You could just clean it up, fix it up a bit, and then sell that exact same car. This is a tricky method because oftentimes normal people cannot buy cars from auctions. You typically do have to have some sort of dealer license, but this is certainly a good way to go about this business model. Secondly is just finding somebody that's desperate to sell their car. Either they need the money, they may be sick of driving their car, they may need the funds for a new car. Whatever the case is, there are a lot of people out there that are desperate to sell their car, and they will do so at almost any cost. This is a great time to jump in, give a lowball offer, buy the car, fix it up, and then sell it for a profit. Or alternatively, another method is to simply use tools like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist to buy a rundown car that needs a lot of work. You purchase that car, do the work on the car to fix it, and then you sell that exact same car once again for a profit. There are so many different ways to go about this business model, and there really isn't any one that is better than the other. They are just all different strategies. Now, there is one big negative to the car flipping market, and I would say that it is fairly oversaturated, which is why this is considered to be number 10 on the list. A lot of people get into car flipping and get into the business of buying and selling cars. And because of this, you are oftentimes competing with many people to not only buy good cars, but to also then sell those exact same cars over again. I think that if you're a good mechanic, if you're a car enthusiast, if you know how to buy cars without getting screwed, this is a great way to make some extra income, but I definitely don't think it is the best item to flip. Number 9 on this list is furniture, and this is something that has really gained steam on social media over the last few months. In fact, during the pandemic, I would see so many videos and TikToks of people online who would buy used furniture on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. They would fix up the furniture, clean the furniture, and then stage the furniture for a really nice photo, and then they would sell that exact same piece of furniture for 2 or 3 times the amount that they paid for it. So often, whenever it comes to buying things used, whether it be on Facebook, Craigslist, or eBay, people who are selling items simply want that item gone, and they're lazy about the way in which they go about listing that item. They take really lazy photos that don't show off the product very well. They don't clean the item before taking the photo, and oftentimes the photo that is taken doesn't really showcase the item as a whole. Sometimes flipping furniture can be as simple as buying the piece of furniture and then simply cleaning and taking a better photo of that same piece of furniture. But if you really wanted to get your hands dirty in the world of flipping, then you could absolutely buy some rundown or very basic pieces of furniture, spruce them up, clean them up, and refresh them, and then sell them for a profit. For example, there are so many listings out there of people who will buy plain IKEA furniture and then turn it into a really nice modern piece. And with furniture flipping, the barrier to entry is quite low because sometimes you can get free furniture, and if you have to pay for it, you can start really small with furniture that is valued at between $25 and $50. Number 8 is children items. The fact is, whenever people have a baby, they have to buy so many pieces of equipment for that child. And typically, whenever somebody has a baby, not only does the parents of that baby have to buy all the equipment, but also the family members and the aunts and uncles and grandparents of that child also have to have that same piece of equipment. In fact, I know exactly how this feels because my sister has a 4-month-old daughter, and ever since my niece was born, I have slowly been filling my house with baby supplies despite the fact that I don't have any kids of my own. This means that once my niece is too big to fit in any of the baby stuff I recently purchased her, I'll have nothing to do with the stuff in the meantime, and more than likely I'll end up selling it for a loss a few years down the line. This is where baby equipment and baby furniture flippers can come into play. There are a lot of people out there that simply want their baby furniture gone. They are sick of having it in their house, they have nowhere to store it, they're sick of seeing it, and they have absolutely no use for the equipment that they once used all the time. And this is where you can go in and buy that furniture at a discount. One really cool tip that I found online for baby furniture flipping is the strategy of going after grandparents, aunts, and uncles who simply bought the equipment for their nieces or grandchildren. People exactly like me. Whenever you buy baby equipment for your actual child, that baby equipment gets used quite a lot. It gets used on a daily basis, day in and day out. And because of that, even though baby equipment is only used for a fairly short period of time, it still gets a lot of use and can get really run down in that 3, 4, 5 month period. But if you go after the uncles, aunts, and grandparents of that child, chances are they also have that same baby equipment, but it is used significantly less. You could look out for this baby equipment on places like Facebook, Craigslist. You can even go to garage sales or even estate sales. The fact is, there is tons of baby equipment out there, and if you could find some at a good deal, clean it up, take some nice photos, you could definitely make a profit whenever it's time to sell. Number 7 on this list is buying clearance items and then flipping those items for a profit. Now, whenever I say clearance items, I don't really have any specific type of product in mind. I'm not talking about TVs or stereos or video games specifically. I am basically talking about anything that is marked as a clearance item that you could see demand for online. For example, Black Friday would be a perfect time to do this. Go to Black Friday, buy some products on clearance whenever they are marked down significantly and have huge discounts. Buy those products, and then a few months later down the line, after the holiday rush, sell those exact same products for a profit. In addition to the Black Friday route, you could go the holiday route as well. Whenever holidays come and go, the prices of those holiday items go up, and then right after the holiday is finished, those exact same items are marked down 50 to 75%, sometimes even more. You could, for example, buy steeply discounted Christmas trees the day after Christmas, and then hold on to those Christmas trees for a few months or even until the next holiday season, and then sell those exact same Christmas trees brand new for a profit. You could do the exact same thing for holidays like Halloween, like Thanksgiving, like Easter, like 4th of July, basically any type of themed decor that only occurs once a year. You could buy those pieces of decor at a steep discount after the holiday has passed and then sell those exact same pieces later on. Now, the one thing that I would like to note about flipping clearance items is that whenever you're doing this, you'll want to make sure that whatever you're buying, number 1, isn't going to be marked down again in the foreseeable future, and number 2, is a hot enough item to resell. This is incredibly important because there are a number of different reasons as to why something may be marked down. Maybe 1, nobody wants to buy the product, and so the retail store is marking it down to simply get rid of inventory. This would be an example of something that would not be worth flipping. Or number 2, the item is on sale for some sort of promotion and will not be marked down again in the foreseeable future. This would be a good example of something that you could flip. Whatever path you choose and whatever item you decide to flip, flipping clearance items is a great way to make some extra money. Number 6 on this list is clothing. Now, this is definitely going to be one of those things that you would only want to pursue if you're number 1, passionate about clothing, and number 2, know a lot about clothing. The fact is, there are a lot of high value, high fashion pieces of clothing that are sold in retailers like Goodwill and flea markets, at garage sales, and so much more. And if you are somebody that knows what to look for whenever it comes to in-style items or high-end fashion or things that have a higher value, this would be a great way to make some extra money. You could make it a weekly routine to go scope out local garage sales or go to Goodwill a couple of times a week, and you could see what is potentially available. There could be designer bags, designer shoes, vintage t-shirts, vintage clothing. The opportunity is truly endless. You can then take this clothing, make sure that it's presentable, clean, ironed, that it doesn't look raggedy, and then you can resell them on platforms like Facebook, eBay, Craigslist, Poshmark, and more. Number 5 is a perfect one for anybody that is very good at building websites, and that is flipping websites. Nowadays, there are a ton of different reasons as to why you may want a website. Maybe you want to start a blog. Maybe you need a website for your business. Maybe you want to start an online business. Maybe you want one for yourself as like a personal brand. Whatever the case is, there are many people out there that want a website, but there are far fewer people out there that actually want to build their own or have the ability to build their own. That's where website flipping can come into play. Basically, how website flipping works is whenever you create a website, you develop that website, you gain some traffic onto that website, and then you flip that website for a profit. This is a really, really cool business model because of the fact that websites are relatively cheap to start. They don't cost a whole lot of money. You can have a really solid website up and running and generating traffic to that website for under $100, which means that if you are somebody that is good at building websites, if you know how to generate traffic and drive traffic to a website, and you want to make money from that website, you can do so by simply building out these sites, generating traffic, and then flipping it for a profit on websites like Flippa. Now, I believe that this flipping endeavor is not for everybody. I do think that you need to have an understanding of website development. You need to be able to build websites quickly and efficiently, and you also need to be able to generate traffic to that website. If you have a website and it's not driving any traffic, then nobody's going to want to buy it. They're only going to want to buy a website if people are visiting that website. And because of that, the ability to generate traffic and drive traffic is absolutely crucial to be successful at this side hustle. So now we are in our top 4. Now I'm going to warn you, these 4 are really cool and really unique ideas on how you can flip items for profit. And though I've heard of all of these business models before, I actually never thought of them in the context of flipping. So I think that you guys will find these very, very valuable. That brings us to number 4 on this list, which is flipping cookware, Tupperware, and appliances. Now, more specifically, what I'm talking about is KitchenAid mixers, Pyrex Tupperware containers, and Ray Dunn brand goods. So let's first start off with KitchenAid mixers. Now, KitchenAid mixers are like a weird status symbol that a lot of people really like in their kitchen because of the fact that they are a very high-end, very niche appliance that not everybody needs and not everybody can afford. It isn't abnormal to spend $300-400 on a KitchenAid mixer, sometimes more if you get the attachments along with it. But the problem with KitchenAid is the fact that they aren't built to last forever, and they can break, they can have issues, and whenever they do break, they are very hard to repair. But they aren't impossible to repair. In fact, they are easy to repair if you're willing to learn and if you're willing to look up on YouTube how to repair it. But this is where you can come in. You could buy KitchenAid mixers at a steep discount, buy broken ones that people are selling because they simply don't work the way they should any longer. You can fix those KitchenAid mixers and then you can sell those same mixers for a profit. KitchenAid mixers are expensive, meaning there are a lot of people that cannot or do not want to pay full price for them. They break easier than they should, which is great news for you, and they aren't impossible to fix. All 3 of these things together make it a great product that you can flip as a side hustle. Next, let's move on to Ray Dunn. Now, for those of you who don't know what Ray Dunn is like a home goods decor company that sells things like cups, sugar holders, toothbrush holders, and things like that. And they are considered to be very sought after by specific people. Some people really love Ray Dunn. Now, I'm not into it myself, but whatever makes people excited is good with me, I guess. But the fact is that Ray Dunn is oftentimes sold in home goods stores, and it isn't entirely uncommon. In fact, it is a fairly regular occurrence for people to go into home goods right whenever it opens and buy out all of the Ray Dunn supplies before anybody else can get their hands on it. According to my research for this video, the most popular Ray Dunn items are long lettered Ray Dunn items, and they're typically white pieces of ceramic pottery with like scribbly looking fonts on the front that say things like coffee or sleep or drink or things like that. And these are considered to be the hottest pieces of ray-done supplies that are oftentimes very, very difficult to get in stores. If you can get your hands on these pieces and you can get them at retail price, then it isn't unheard of to be able to sell those exact same pieces for 2 or 3 times the amount that you purchased them for on places like Facebook, Craigslist, or even local trading groups. And then the last one of these 3 is like the one that is most mind-blowing to me, and that is Pyrex Tupperware container. Now, this is absolutely crazy, but this brand of Tupperware for some reason has absolutely exploded in recent years because of the fact that it's considered vintage. Now, it is important to note that it's not all Pyrex, it's very specific types of ceramic Pyrex that are considered to be extremely hot items. In fact, you can find Pyrex Tupperware containers for $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 being sold and being purchased online. Number 3 on this list is trading cards, and this is something that brings out the inner child in everybody. Trading cards have really exploded in the last couple of years, specifically like the last 5 to 10 months. During the pandemic, trading cards for some reason really took off, and they are still gaining steam today. Specifically trading cards like ones for Major League Sports like the NFL, the NHL, the MLB, but also Pokemon cards as well. Now, this is another type of thing that can be difficult to get started with because of the fact that now everybody is on the scope for high value trading cards. That nowadays it's very difficult to go into a regular store and just get lucky getting a high-end, high-value card. But you could potentially find some really good finds in pawn shops, at garage sales, at estate sales, or even just keeping your eye out online. You can then use websites like COMC, which is Check Out My Card, Beckett Marketplace, StockX, Sportlot, The Pits, or Star Stock in order to then sell these trading cards that you've purchased. Now, the way that I think that this type of side hustle could really work is if you're somebody that already has a lot of trading cards and you don't necessarily see the value in keeping them. There are a lot of people out there that collected trading cards throughout their entire childhood and they simply never threw them away, but they also don't really want to keep them for sentimental reasons either. If you are somebody that would fall into this category, then going back and selling those trading cards could be an excellent path to make some really good money. But as far as making money through the actual act of buying and selling these cards, I do think that you have to know the card market very well. You have to know what is hot and what is not. And you have to, of course, be able to spot fake cards from real cards. Number 2 on this list is watches. And the reason why I love this side hustle and the reason why it's included as number 2 on this list is because I believe that the income potential with this is absolutely insane. And I think that it's niche enough to where not everybody wants to or has the ability to be able to flip watches. Now, whenever it comes to watch flipping, there are a few important things to keep in mind. Number 1 is you have to be able to know about watches. You need to be able to know what is a nice watch versus what isn't a nice watch. And you need to be able to know what is hot right now and what people are wanting to buy. Number 2 is that you also have to know what's going to be those timeless pieces. When it comes to watches, you want to be able to tell the difference between a trend and what is going to be a popular high value watch for years to come. If you know this, then you can plan your watch purchases accordingly to make the most money as possible. Number 3, you have to be able to spot fake watches from real ones. That is, of course, a no-brainer. And number 4, you should be able to fix or at least have an idea of how to fix or clean watches. This way, you can buy watches that are in less than stellar condition, fix them up, and then sell them for a profit in their new and improved condition. Now, in doing research for this video, I found a couple of pieces of advice that I thought were really, really valuable. Number 1 is to buy your watches from individuals, not from jewelers. If you're somebody who is wanting to flip watches, you should buy them directly from the owners of the watch rather than from a jewelry company. The other piece of advice that I found during my research that I thought was very, very good is the idea to buy watches that are not in good condition and then you make them in good condition and then you sell them. The example that I found online, and I will include the link to this down in the description below, was a watch seller that claimed that one of his best deals was buying a Panerai 88 for $2,700 because it was missing a box and it was in terrible condition. This seller found a box on eBay for $100. He fixed and polished the watch and then he sold it again a week later for $5,600. You would be surprised at how much value you can provide to a watch by simply finding an original box that matches that watch and also polishing and providing some minor fixes to the watch as a whole. If you can do these things and if you're willing to learn these things, then flipping watches could be a great way to make a lot of money. And that brings us to number 1 on this list, which is a flipping gig that is starting to gain steam, but I still think that there's a ton of opportunity out there. And the other thing I love about this side hustle is that it really merges people's passions with a way to make a lot of money, and that is flipping sneakers. Now, the sneaker market is an absolutely massive market today in 2021. In fact, the sneaker reselling market is valued at over $1 billion per year, which means there is over $1 billion worth of shoes bought and sold every single year. That is huge. That is absolutely massive. And that means there is so much opportunity out there for you to get a piece of the action. Now, whenever it comes to flipping sneakers, there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. Number one, you can try to buy sneakers at retail right whenever they're released. There are actually a lot of tools that you can use to do this online effectively. There are bots that you can purchase that will automatically buy sneakers right as they're launched. There are ways to keep track of when sneakers are going to be released, and there are a lot of online tools that can help you get ahead of the game. If you were to go this route, you could buy high-end, high sought-after sneakers online for a retail price, and then you simply mark them up and sell them for a profit on eBay, Craigslist, or Facebook Marketplace. Additionally, you can just seek out sneakers. There are a lot of sneakerheads out there that have far too many shoes, and at some point in time, some of these people may be forced to sell them to get some extra cash. You keep an eye out for those listings online. You take advantage of situations where somebody really needs to sell some sneakers. You buy high-end shoes at a low price, go back and sell them again for a profit. Or number three, you can buy run-down sneakers and then fix them up and then sell them once again. Again, sneakers get dirty, even ones that people don't wear a whole lot. And if you can go in and clean sneakers, take some professional photos, and then resell them, you could end up making some good cash. Now, like any of the flipping products that I've talked about today, the sneaker hustle certainly isn't for everybody because you do have to have a really good idea of what is currently hot in the market. Sneakers are not all created equal, and there are some types of shoes that are significantly higher value than others. And you will want to be really in tune with what's currently hot in the market and what's currently in style. Additionally, you'll have to be able to spot the difference between a fake sneaker and a real sneaker because the last thing that you want for your sneaker side hustle is to get scammed by buying a fake pair of shoes. And doing for my research, there were multiple articles written about many different people who are making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 per month flipping sneakers, and that is simply all they do, and they're making a killing. Now, with that being said, you guys, I think that all 10 of these opportunities are great ways to make some extra cash. If you're somebody that is passionate about kitchen appliances, cars, websites, sneakers, watches, whatever the case is, there is something for everyone in this list. And if you guys are looking for a way to make some extra money in your spare time, then all of these options are great options to pursue. Now, with that being said, you guys, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear your thoughts, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.